Hey guys, it's choixd. This is my first video ever. We'll see how it goes. Today, let's build this little kit. It's a little synthesizer called Macchiato by Zeppelin Design Labs. This is a very basic synth. You have an option to buy a casing made for it, but I chose not to do that and just leave it hanging around with wires everywhere. This thing uses wavetable technology. Wavetable is you just have like a single waveform and then you can shape it different ways and it just loops it really fast. I think I'm just gonna start building the circuit board. I just finished soldering everything on here. It was pretty straightforward. There's only one thing that I didn't like, which was soldering the ICs directly on the PCB board. Now, I would rather prefer soldering on a little IC holder thingamajig, but I was too lazy to get them myself, so we'll see how that works. I have my power supply right here. I'll set this to 9 volts. I'll lower some of the amps. And then I can plug this in, and let's see if this blows up. Change this to output. Oh, cool, it works. Plug that sucker in. Woo, that's pretty cool. Can you hear that? I'm actually clipping these speakers right now. So this sounds like it's two-note polyphony. When I play this note right here, this top C at the highest octave on a pulse wave. So if I go back to a sine wave, I actually hear an F going on at the same time as a C. I actually like the sound when it distorts, especially these clean sine waves. So let's hook this up to a DAW, a computer, and let's make a beat. Alright, so now I hook this up, I can control the synthesizer with my MIDI controller. And I'm running through this MIDI controller into my DAW, output MIDI of my audio interface into the MIDI input on the synthesizer. So I can play it kind of both ways. I think that this thing is pretty cool. I'm gonna play that. I'm just gonna play it one note at a time for each of the chords because I can't really play piano that well. We'll see how it goes. Here's the first chord. I'm recording everything in MIDI right now, and then I'm gonna print it after playing with the settings on the synth a little bit right afterwards before moving on, just to, you know, commit to these decisions that I make. Kind of forces me to move on and just kind of get finished with it, so. Now I'm gonna play this downward synth line. We gotta lay down some drums. I was thinking maybe doing some multi-track beatboxing type of stuff. I've never done it before. I'm not good at beatboxing, but let's just see what happens. I'm gonna try layering out something else on there. Ta, ta, ta. Maybe a little bit more of the transients. Next is the hats. I'm gonna boost up the gain really loud and whisper it very slowly into this microphone's ears and be very gentle. So I'm gonna use this pop filter so you don't hear my You might be wondering why I'm not using a mic stand, and honestly it's because I'm lazy and I didn't want to set it up, and this was just way quicker to just hold it up. Kick drum, I added a few processing techniques. This is what it sounds like dry. You hear the little voices in there, so what I did was I added a noise gate, a transient enhancer, compressor, bass enhancer, and then a little bit of an EQ to make it sound a little bit more like a kick drum. For the snare drums, I layered all of these. I actually didn't hit them exactly the same time, so I moved them over kind of roughly. I kind of utilized one of my snare hits as a basis and then moved all the rest of them. I tried not to be super precise. So I first have this sound right here. And then I high passed it. Put a little bit of an aggressive noise gate, a transient enhancer to boost the attack and reduce the sustain, another one, and then a little bit of compression. And then I did kind of basically the same processing for all these samples. High pass, noise gate, reduce the sustain, increase the attack. This pow sound. This was kind of going to be my main like two-warranted thud. Put a high pass on it, noise gate, same thing, you know, I didn't really do anything crazy. And then with all of them layered on top of each other, and then you add some reverb into it, and then they function as a snare drum. When you listen to the hi-hat dry, you hear a lot of the breath sound, so I high passed it, and then I added a noise gate in there. And then I added this exciter to add additional harmonics into it. And then I kind of did the same thing as the rest. I increased the transients, put it through a basic compressor, which just to even out the volumes of all my hits. And then I added this minor EQ. So that's the drums. For the rest of the synthesizers, I didn't really do too much processing. I just panned them around, gain matched them a little bit. Actually, for the main riff, it's kind of a clean sine wave, so I added this saturation, tape saturation. You can hear that it added a lot of distortion, and I just added some compression and reverb to it. And I pretty much did the same thing like that for the rest of the sounds. So that's what I did to make this track, and hope you guys enjoy it. Disclaimer, you listened to it at the beginning of the video, but here it is.